हेलो बच्चों, वेलकम टू SPSVERSITY. Today we are going to discuss about biomolecules. What is meant by biomolecules? What are the different components present in it? So the molecules which are present in living organisms. So living organisms means in the molecules which are present in the cells of living organisms. So the molecules which are present in the cells of living organisms, इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि biomolecules. हर एक सेल में बायोमोलिक्यूल्स रहता. It is made up of biomolecules. A biomolecules are compounds or ions. इस सब को क्या बोलते कि सेल्युलर पूल. Okay. So majorly biomolecules are the compounds of carbon. Okay. So here they are majorly carbon compounds which are associated with, that is mostly they are organic compounds. So here when you come to biomolecules, so one of the most important component of biomolecules is carbon. So it is the most predominant element of life, which constitutes about roughly about 18.5% when you come to living organisms. Whereas other components are present is hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, sodium, calcium, magnesium, all these isomolecules. A components in non-living में रहता और living में भी रहता. So non-living में सिर्फ 0.03% रहता, लेकिन living में 18.5% of carbon रहता. So this is a comparison of the elements in non-living and living components. So when you come to analysis of chemical composition of living organisms, so living organisms में organic compounds रहता और inorganic compounds भी रहता. Organic means which are associated with carbon. The carbon compounds are called organic. And the next remaining one that is inorganic compounds. So organic compounds में क्या क्या आता है? Proteins, carbohydrates, lipids. Inorganic compounds में क्या आता है? Like calcium carbonate, sodium chloride, phosphorus, sodium, magnesium, calcium. ये आता है. इसके साथ ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स और इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स के साथ वाटर is very important. A very important compound present in the body of living organisms. इसमें ऑर्गेनिक और इनऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स के साथ वाटर is an important compound of living organisms. Okay. So when you do chemical analysis of organic compounds, okay, how to do this chemical analysis of a compound? So for this we should take a living tissue of a living organism. Living tissue means it may be anyone, like a fruit, or if you take from animal, liver. Grind it in pestle and mortar, adding TCA, trichloroacetic acid. Okay. After grinding it by adding trichloroacetic acid frequently in a pestle mortar, we'll get a thick slurry. So this thick slurry is filtered through a filter paper, that is a cheesecloth or a cotton. The molecules which are filtered through this, that is the filtrate, which is called filtrate, they are acid soluble. And the molecules which are not filtered, they are acid insoluble fractions. इसमें दो आते हैं, soluble और insoluble. Acid soluble fractions को क्या बोलते हैं कि filtrate. Acid insoluble fractions को क्या बोलते हैं कि they are infiltrates. Okay. So filtrates means which pass through this filter. Infiltrate which cannot pass through this. Okay. So by this method we can analyze the organic compounds in this. Okay. And there is another analysis for inorganic compounds. So इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि ash analysis. Okay. Ash means after burning a tissue or a dried one. And when you do analysis of the ash contains sulfates, chlorides, phosphates. Okay. Not only this, along with this sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, ऐसा inorganic elements रहता ash. So ash analysis is done for inorganic compounds. Okay. So अभी तक हमें डिस्कस किया organic और inorganic compounds. Next आएंगे हमें organic compounds के बारे में. Okay. When you come to majorly biomolecules, we'll be discussing about organic molecules. Okay. So these organic molecules, इसमें proteins, carbohydrates, fats, lipids से पूरा आता है, carbohydrates. Okay. इसमें classification रहता. So based on the molecular weight, the biomolecules are divided into two: biomicromolecules and biomacromolecules. Biomicromolecules means which has molecular weight less than 1000 Daltons. Okay. So it is found in, that is, simple sugar, amino acids, nucleotides, a पूरा biomicromolecules, or sulfates, phosphates. Or biomolecules whose molecular weight is more than 1000 Daltons. So इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि macromolecules. Generally macromolecules, they are acid insoluble. इसमें क्या आता है कि proteins, polysaccharides, nucleic acids, lipids. इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि biomacromolecules. Here हमें डिस्कस करना lipids के बारे में. So lipids, they come under micromolecules, but they are found in acid insoluble fraction. As they are found in acid insoluble fraction, they are considered as a macromolecules. Even though they come under macromolecules, as they are found in acid insoluble fraction, they are considered as बायोमैक्रोमोलेक्यूल. पहले मैं डिस्कस करेंगे बायोमाइक्रोमोलेक्यूल्स के बारे में. सो बायोमाइक्रोमोलेक्यूल्स में शुगर्स, एमिनो एसिड्स, न्यूक्लियोटाइड्स ये पूरा आता है. शुगर्स मीन्स इसमें द सिंपलेस्ट शुगर्स. Simplest sugars means which cannot be hydrolyzed further. Okay. इसमें आता है कि monosaccharides. Mono means only one sugar unit. Okay. In monosaccharides में the carbon atoms they can be varied 3 to 7. They may be composed of 3 to 7 carbon atoms. For example, if you take glucose, इसमें glucose में 6 carbons रहता. So glucose is a monosaccharide, इसमें 6 carbons रहता. Ribose is a monosaccharide, उसमें 5 carbons रहता. As a 4 carbon compounds, erythrose. 5 carbon compounds, monosaccharide ribose. 7 carbon compounds, pseudoheptulose. So number of carbons may be varying in monosaccharides. So they are simplest sugars. So simplest sugars में हमें ले सकते glucose, ribose, xylulose, pseudoheptulose, ये पूरा इसमें आता है. Based on number of carbons. The next biomicromolecule is amino acids. Okay. The name itself says इसमें amino group रहता, contain an amino group and an acidic group. And both this amino group and acidic group are attached to the same carbon, that is the same alpha carbon. In chemical very cold, they are substituted methanes with 4 substitute groups occupying 4 valencies 4. Alpha carbon to which hydrogen, carboxylic group, amino group, these all are attached. The functional group or is attached. इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि alpha amino acids. Here if you look into the general formula of amino acid is, that is the general formula is amino acid has a minimum 1 amino group and 1 carboxylic group. And the functional group or may be differing from amino acid to amino acid. Depending upon the nature of our group, there are 20 different amino acids. For example, if you take glycine, the R group is hydrogen. So glycine में इसमें R group में hydrogen रहता. Alanine methyl रहता. Serine hydroxy methyl रहता. Hydroxy methyl. So depending upon the R group, the functional group, the amino acids differ. So here you can look into this glycine. A glycine में R group में hydrogen है. Alanine methyl. Serine isomethyl. So based on this, there are 20 different amino acids which form a major component of protein. Proteins are made up of amino acids. Okay. Amino acids, they show a specific property. That is, when they are dissolved in water, that is, they are ionizable. So here the amino group and carboxylic group are ionizable. Okay. So what happens is the structure of amino acid change in solutions at different pH. So here you can see, that is a glycine at low pH. It is called glycinium cation. At normal pH, glycine deuterion. At high pH, it is glycinated anion. That is, at high pH, this carboxylic group loses hydrogen. Okay. So that's why it shows deuterion. It shows it is called deuterion. So at low pH, it is in fully protonated form. At high pH, it is in deprotonated form. So इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि deuterionic nature. Okay. So अभी तक हमें डिस्कस किया sugars और amino acids. नेक्स्ट हमें डिस्कस करेंगे लिपिड्स के बारे में. Okay. So lipids are generally water insoluble, but they are soluble in non-polar organic solvents. Okay. But they are soluble in non-polar organics. Okay. So they may form simple fatty acids which has a carboxylic group, that is to attach to OR group. Okay. OR group में मिथाइल ग्रुप पे रहता और इथाइल ग्रुप में भी रहता. Okay. So they can be a simple fatty acids. Fatty acids means saturated fatty acids or unsaturated fatty acids. दो types रहते. Saturated में butyric acid, palmitic acid ये पूरा saturated में आता. Unsaturated linoleic acid. Okay. So simple lipid is another example for simple lipid is glycerol, which is chemically called trihydroxypropane, which has 3 carbons. Okay. Fatty acids, to which these 3 fatty acids, when attached to glycerol, it will form a triglyceride. Phospholipid, to which phosphate is attached to lipid like lecithin. इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि phospholipids, which are present in cell membrane. Cell membrane is made up of phospholipids and proteins. Phospholipids means in which the phosphate is attached to the lipids. इसको क्या बोलते हैं कि phospholipids. Next, the macromolecule is nitrogen bases. Okay. So these are organic compounds with heterocyclic rings. Hetero means different. Based on these rings, there are of 2 types, that is purines and pyrimidines. Purines में 2 rings रहता, 2 rings. Pyrimidines में single ring रहता. You are seeing the picture, adenine, इसमें देख सकते. 2 rings, one ring with 6 positions and another ring with 5 positions. So it is called double cyclic ring-like structure. And this is uracil, which is a pyrimidine, which is monocyclic ring structure. Mono means one ring. So monocyclic ring structure. Okay. So we have purines and pyrimidines. So purines में दो types रहता है, adenine and guanine. Pyrimidines में cytosine, uracil, thymine रहता है. So अभी पूरा में नाइट्रोजन बेसिस के बारे में है तो totally we'll have 5 nitrogen bases: adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine, or uracil. So these nitrogen bases, they condense with pentose sugar to form nucleosides. Okay. That is, when adenine combines with the pentose sugar, it is adenosine. Here you can see in this picture. This is adenine. And this adenine is attached to a pentose sugar, which is called adenosine. Guanosine, which is attached to guanine, is attached to a pentose sugar. Thymosin, where it is attached to pentose sugar. Cytosine, which is attached to pentose sugar. Pyridine, uracil, it is attached to pentose sugar. So a nitrogen base plus a sugar, a pentose sugar, it is called nucleoside. So nucleosides का नाम adenosine, guanosine, thymosin, cytidine और pyridine. So the simplest component we discussed is nitrogen base. The next is nucleoside and the next is nucleotide. A nucleotide has 3 components. It consists of a nitrogen base, a pentose sugar, and a phosphate molecule. So when a nitrogen base is attached to pentose sugar and phosphate, it is called nucleotide. A nucleotide may it types adenylate acid, adenine, which has nitrogen base adenine. Guanylic acid, which has nitrogen base guanine. Cytidilic acid, which has nitrogen base cytosine. Thymidilic acid, which has thymine. And uridylic acid, which has uracil. So here you can see adenylic acid, a nucleotide. So this is adenine. To this adenine, a sugar molecule is attached. On the other hand, to the sugar molecule, a phosphate molecule is attached. So इसको क्या बोलते कि पूरा स्ट्रक्चर को क्या बोलते कि nucleotide. So the simplest one, nitrogen base, little bit complex one, nucleoside, a little bit more complex than nucleoside is nucleotide. And later on it is nucleic acids. The basic components of nucleic acids is made up of the nucleotides. The basic building blocks of nucleic acids is nucleotides. Okay. So अभी तक हमें डिस्कस किया that is macromolecules. Okay. That is sugars, amino acids, and the nucleotides. Okay. The next aspect is primary and secondary metabolites. प्राइमरी बोले तो क्या है, सेकेंडरी बोले तो क्या. Metabolites means the biomolecules which are found in living cells. Okay. So these metabolites, it of again two types, primary and secondary. So primary means which can be identified based on their functions. They have a specific role in physiological process, like amino acids, nitrogen bases, proteins, nucleic acids. ये पूरा primary metabolites पर. Secondary metabolites, these are products of certain metabolic pathway. Okay. These are useful to secondary metabolites. They are useful to mankind. Okay. Many of them are useful to mankind, like the spices, rubber, drugs. These all are secondary metabolites, so which are useful to, that is, us. This comes under secondary metabolites. Okay. Now we are going to discuss about biomacromolecules, which has a molecular weight of more than 1000 Daltons and above. They are generally acid insoluble. What will come under this? It is polysaccharides, which has the simplest is polysugars, nucleic acid, and proteins. Okay. So these biomacromolecules are nothing but polymers of biomicromolecules. They are nothing but they are made up of the basic building blocks or biomicromolecules. The polymers में दो रहता, homopolymer. Homo means same, heteropolymer different. Homo और heteropolymer. पहले में डिस्कस करेंगे प्रोटीन्स के बारे में. So proteins are heteropolymers which contain amino acids as their building blocks. There are 20 different types of amino acids. Any of them may be present. Okay. These are heteropolymers. Protein doesn't have the, not always will not have the same amino. They will have different amino acids. Between amino acids there is a peptide bond. Amino acids के बीच में क्या रहता है कि एक peptide bond रहता है. Carboxylic group of one amino acid, a peptide bond is formed between carboxylic group and amino group. Like this, with the help of peptide bonds, many amino acids are combined to form a protein. इसमें amino acids के बारे में है. इसमें essential रहता और non-essential रहता. Essential means they should be taken by living organisms along with the food. Non-essential means they can be prepared by your own body. No need of taking this. So non-essential means it doesn't mean that they are not required. They are not required to take through food. Our body can form this non-essential amino acids. So the enormous proteins, the different types of proteins in cell, which are made up of 20 amino acids. Okay. The protein structure, it depends on number of amino acids and sequence of amino acids. So number of amino acids and sequence of amino acids. Okay. So for example, if you take collagen, which is most abundant protein found in animals. Like if you take ribulose 1,5-bisphosphate, which is the most abundant plant protein found in this. Okay. ऐसा में proteins में बहुत सारे types रहता और इसका functions भी बहुत सारे functions रहता. Like if you take proteins, the proteins will form the cell membrane. There are carrier proteins. Okay. Like they play an important role in the transport of nutrients across the membrane. Across the membrane means here particularly the cell membrane. To fight against infections in organisms like antibodies, whenever we get an infection in our body, antibodies are synthesized. Enzymes are made up of proteins. There are many enzymes. There are some proteinaceous hormones also which are made up of proteins. Okay. So they play an important role in different like transport, protection from infection, defense mechanism. Okay. Like these proteins will have different roles in a living cell. And when you come to structure of protein, okay. The structure of protein में 4 levels रहता है: primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. So primary means it is the basic structure of protein, in which a number of polypeptides are involved in having sequence of amino acids. That is, if you come to this, the primary structure, the first amino acid is called N-terminal amino acid, and the last is called C-terminal amino acid. Okay. So here carboxylic group is free, here amino group is free. In the first amino acid, amino group is free. In the terminal amino acids, carboxylic group is free. Secondary structure. So this protein will form a long thread-like structures which show a helix-like structure. Helix means a thread-like structure which is coiled spirally in right-handed manner. Okay. Or little complex, it is called tertiary structure, where the protein chain is folded upon itself, more foldings. So if you look into 3-dimensional view of the protein, it looks like a hollow woolen ball. Or still complex, it is quaternary structure. So each polypeptide develops into one tertiary structure. Okay. The best example is hemoglobin, which has 4 polypeptides, alpha 1, alpha 2, beta 1, beta 2. So hemoglobin is the best example for quaternary protein structure. So here what you are seeing, this is the primary structure of amino acid sequence. Okay. So these are different amino acids: alanine, glycine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, isoleucine, leucine, cysteine, asparagine. These are all different amino acids. Okay. So here you can see this is the secondary structure is, you can see the spiral coiling, where the amino acid chain is showing spiral coiling. It is the secondary structure. Tertiary structure, you can see still further foldings are seen. and quaternary structure is still more complex than tertiary structure, which has more than one polypeptide. So in proteins, इसमें 4 forms रहता, 4 levels रहता. Primary structure, secondary structure, tertiary structure, quaternary structure. So proteins, after proteins, we are going to discuss about polysaccharides. Poly means many. It is made up of many sugar units. It is a long chain of many sugar units. That is, they are made up of many monosaccharides. The polysaccharides में 2 types रहते. Homopolysaccharides, that is cellulose, starch and inulin. Okay. Heteropolysaccharides, very made of different monosaccharides, that is chitin. Okay. So homopolysaccharides mean that is it will have only one type of sugar, like cellulose, which is present in the cell wall of plants. Starch, where food is stored in the plants. Inulin, which is stored in few plants like sweet potato. Okay. Dahlia, in which inulin is stored. Heteropolysaccharides like chitin, which forms the exoskeleton of cockroach. So chitin forms the exoskeleton of cockroaches. Okay. And the next is nucleic acids. So nucleic acids, they are nothing but polynucleotides. They are a chain of polynucleotides. A nucleic acid is made up of nucleotides. Nucleotide में 3 components रहते हैं. इसमें भी 3 components रहते हैं. That is one nitrogen base, polysaccharide, that is pentose sugar, and a phosphate. A nucleic acid में रहने वाले sugar, either it may be ribose or deoxyribose. If it is deoxyribose, it is called DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. If it is ribose sugar, it is RNA, ribonucleic acid. So the full form is ribonucleic acid. So nucleic acids में 2 types रहता depending upon the sugar present in it. One is deoxyribonucleic acid, another one is ribonucleic acid. पहले मैं डिस्कस करेंगे डीएनए के बारे में. The structure of DNA was explained, that is double helix model of DNA was explained by Watson and Crick. They proposed double helix model. It is a polymer of deoxyribonucleotides. इसमें 2 strands रहता. So it is double stranded. Generally DNA is double stranded. Very rarely it is single stranded. So it is called double stranded, dsDNA, in which 2 strands are present which run anti-parallelly and they are coiled with each other. So each coil, that is one pitch, its length is 3.4 nanometers. Okay. So here you can see the structure of a DNA. where there are two strands which are coiled with each other. So this is one strand and this is one strand. So which are coiled with each other. And these are called base pairs. Okay. These are called base pairs. A base pair make nitrogen base, one sugar and one phosphate. So nitrogen bases are cytosine, guanine, adenine, thymine, right? Okay. And the distance of one pitch is 3.4 nanometers. Okay. और इसके बीच में difference, the base pair, one base pair and another base pair, the distance between this is 0.34 nanometers. Okay. And the total angle of pitch is 360 degrees. So this is about the DNA. Generally, RNA is single-stranded. Okay. RNA में single-stranded रहता है. और RNA में thymine is absent. In the place of thymine, uracil is present. So in the place of thymine, uracil is present. In the place of thymine, uracil is present. Okay. Remaining all are common, cytosine, guanine, adenine, these all are present in both DNA and RNA. So here it is having, instead of thymine, there is uracil, and the sugar is ribose sugar. Okay. In most of the living organisms, DNA is the genetic material, and very few viruses like tobacco mosaic virus, RNA is the genetic material. Mostly RNA plays an important role in protein synthesis, whereas DNA plays an important role as a genetic material. That means it forms the genes. These are all are made up of DNA. So there are quite differences between DNA and RNA. So DNA is double-stranded, whereas RNA is single-stranded. Most of the DNA is present in nucleus and in few cell organelles like chloroplast and the mitochondria. It is a role of genetic material, whereas the RNA role is the synthesis of proteins. Okay. इसमें uracil रहता है, इसमें RNA में uracil रहता है, लेकिन DNA में uracil नहीं रहता, इसमें thymine रहता. Okay. ऐसा, these are the differences between DNA and RNA which play an important role as a nucleic acids in living organisms. Till now we have discussed about the polysaccharides, proteins, and next we discussed about the nitrogen bases in biomacromolecules. In biomicromolecules we discussed sugars, amino acids, lipids, and next we discussed about the nitrogen bases. So that's all for today's session. Let's meet in the next session.